What's better than 1 reason to play Shatterpoint? What's better than 2 reasons to play Shatterpoint? What's better than 3 reasons to play Shatterpoint? What's better than 4 reasons to play Shatterpoint? Here's 5 reasons why Shatterpoint is actually like a super fun game. I think you'd have fun playing it, and we're gonna tell you why. Okay, so the overlap between Star Wars fans and people that play any like skirmish games is probably gotta be pretty high.
It's more or less 100%.
I think, yeah. Right? Yeah. We got into Shatterpoint when it came out earlier in 2023, and there's a lot to like about this game, Victor.
Yeah, totally.
And you know, I see people playing other games and they're not playing Shatterpoint, and I'm thinking to myself, these people are missing out, you know? I cry myself to sleep every night because I know there are people out there that would be having fun playing Shatterpoint, but they just didn't know that they would be having fun.
Yeah.
So right now I'm gonna tell you why, and this is reason number 1. Okay, so this is like, we're gonna dive into the niche reasons first, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess.
my first reason that I want to talk about, the rules for this game are unlike any other game that I've played. There are so many skirmish games that have the same kind of base skeleton.
Yeah.
But this game, there has so many interesting and creative elements to its gameplay that make it really exciting for me. Like, first of all, the struggle tracker. It's a tug-of-war system, really fun. There's 3 struggles to the game, so it's basically like 3, like if you're thinking about Kill Team, it'd be 3 turning points, except a lot of things reset between each struggle, right? So your position on the board, like your minis on the board stay, but control of points resets. The struggle tracker, which is like the tug-of-war system, completely resets. Like, so many things reset. So even if you completely get demolished in the first struggle, well, maybe you positioned yourself to destroy the second struggle. Another really interesting thing about this game that I really like is there's combat trees. So you're not just rolling dice to see how many hits you get through and how much damage you deal, but it's a lot more dynamic than that, right? So you roll and you see a tree like this, and when you count your dice, you're not rolling like how much damage you do or anything like that. You're seeing how many successes you get. And however many successes you get, that's how many steps you can go along this tree. And some steps you get to might give you damage, like you'd expect, but some might let you shove your opponent's minis around, moving them off a key objective, or add conditions, like a pin, which inhibits your opponent's ability to move around. It's a lot more than just dealing damage and getting minis off the board, which I really like. There are a ton of different rules in this game that are really, really creative and really different than any other game I've played. We do have a how to play for this game. If you haven't checked it out yet, link up there, and just, you know, we'll give a pretty good solid overview of how to play this game. I highly recommend checking it out if you're interested after watching this video.
Yeah, you know, one thing I'd like to add to that is that in all of the games of Shatterpoint we've played, no matter who's winning, I've never checked out of a game. The rule set is made in a way that you really feel engaged to the end. You know, everything is pretty durable, and so there's always a lot of units on the board. There's always kind of play left to be had, and like you said with the struggle tracker, the way it works, like, there's always a chance. It's never felt, you know, halfway through like, okay, whatever, let's just get through this. Like, I mean, some other games we play have certainly felt like that.
Yeah.
All right, so the second reason that you should be playing Shatterpoint, or whatever however we frame this, is that because the game is relatively fresh, now is a great time to get into it without being too bogged down with way too much content and a very, very developed meta. So in a lot of other game systems, especially in the skirmish space, they're very bloated by this point in their cycle, and there are so many different teams, and it's just like a massive amount that you have to understand to get in and have any sort of fluency in the system. And on top of that, people have just had years and tournaments and world championships, and the meta has become so refined that it feels like, you know, if you're not playing in a specific style or with a specific few teams, you just don't really have a shot. Whereas Shatterpoint is still pretty fresh. Like we said earlier, it's less than a year old, and the game is still evolving. You know, there's so many releases that are still happening for it. You know, they've announced a lot of new stuff coming out over the next year. The game feels like it has so much more room to grow, and now is like a really exciting time to be able to get in on the ground floor and explore this game and understand it at the same time as other people, instead of trying to jump into something that's like filled with people that no matter what will have years of experience on you.
And that still exists, but it's like not close to some other situations.
Yeah, and because the mechanics are so unique, no one is coming in with like a base of knowledge on how this game specifically works. I mean, if you talk about Kill Team, like people that have been playing Warhammer 40,000 for 30 years or whatever are going to have like a pretty good idea of like the dice math and stuff. This is like a totally different world, and it's a very exciting time to get into it.
Yeah. Okay, one more reason I think that Shatterpoint is like such a well-designed and super fun game to be playing. It's baked into this game that you're never gonna paint a mini and then it gets wiped off the table before you get to do anything with it.
Yeah.
The way this game works is it's not like you deal damage to a mini and then once it reaches its health pool, it just goes away from the board. There's a mechanic in this game that basically means once your character takes enough damage to be wounded, it like goes to sleep for a little bit and then it comes back next time you activate it, and it can do more stuff on its turn, play like normal, except some of its abilities might cost more to use. So like even if right at the first turn somehow an alpha strike happens and your like beautiful painted mini that you spent hours and hours on gets wounded right away, it's gonna stay on the table and you're gonna get at least one activation with it. Like always you're gonna get to do something with your mini.
Totally.
That's something that I find with other games, it can feel really bad. Like I know I don't want to bring other games too much into this, but a recent Kill Team that I painted up, I know I really liked my tracker for the scouts, and like a few times we've had him on the channel lately, and he just dies before I can literally do anything with him.
Yeah.
And it feels kind of bad, you know? Like I want to try out his cool abilities and stuff.
Yeah.
With Shatterpoint, you never have to worry about that. Like it's baked into the game, and that is on purpose.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a funny double-edged sword, right? The model that you think is going to be the best is often your favorite one, and the one you put the most effort into. Yet the best and favorite one is the one your opponent has to target. But yeah, like you said, Vader's always going to get a chance to do something.
Yeah,
you know?
No matter what.
Yeah. So the next reason that I really like Shatterpoint and think it's a great game to get into is that all of the resources that you need to get going and play are free and online.
Oh, so good.
That's huge.
It's
and
huge.
Honestly, this shouldn't be such a big deal, and this shouldn't be such a victory. This should just be the way it is, and AMG gets it. All of the core rules, all of the terrain expansion rules, tons of constant updates and that sort of thing are constantly being put on the Atomic Mass website, and it's all free, and it's all available to download, and it's all formatted really nicely. You could print it out, but you don't have to print it out. It's readable on a tablet. You don't need some stupid app. It all just works really well. And I think that's a really important thing. It makes the game really accessible. It makes it easy to get your friends into it because you say, check out this link. You don't need to say, hey, go check out that $40 book.
Yeah.
And another thing is because all the rules are free and because they're all published online, all of the updates are happening on the actual core rules.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, if you have to buy a book and then something gets changed and there's a balanced data slate or whatever, it's not updated, you end up with different rule sets, it's a mess, it's a nightmare. Everyone knows this is an issue, and I think in a climate crisis, having free paperless rules is a huge deal. Really got me over the hump into why I wanted to get into this game.
Okay, our final reason here why this game is perfect for everyone that's a Star Wars fan and a skirmish gaming fan. The minis are absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
They look so nice. They're a bit bigger scale than like a lot of Games Workshop games. They're like 40 millimeter scale, I think.
Yeah.
But they're like such a joy to paint.
They really are.
Such a joy to build. The instructions are clear. Everything just goes together so well. I have like not had a bad experience with any of the boxes that we've bought.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Same here. You know, everything isn't covered in 1,000 tiny little leather pouches, which is a nice touch.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like a lot of other game companies, they really over-design a lot of their minis, and it makes like painting them kind of a drag. But
Totally.
you know, these are just modeled after what you've seen on screen, so there's like no extra stuff.
Yeah, and this game really leans into the sort of like Clone Wars aesthetic, and I think that translates into three-dimensional plastic so well because, you know, like there's some cartoonish exaggeration in places, but I think it works really well.
Yeah.
And like you said, easy to paint. They, you know, haven't had a bad one yet.
No, and you know, okay, you're not a minis guy, you're more into the terrain. This is the best terrain set I think I've ever put together and used.
Yep.
Like, it was so nice to put together, really modular, and it plays so well. Like, and it looks so good.
Absolutely. And another quick thing to add to the terrain, because the rules are made in such an open and flexible way, you can use your own terrain very successfully.
You can, yeah, you don't have to use their terrain.
Like, it's not, you don't get bogged down in like very specific measurements that, you know, if they're not adhered to, the game breaks. Like, you know, this will work with, you know, some cans and cereal boxes if you want
Definitely.
to. You know, it's a really easy game to get into for that reason as well.
Yeah. And, okay, 5.5 reason, an addendum to this last reason, is Star Wars. Like, you get to play with Star Wars.
It's Star Wars.
Who doesn't love that, you know? Who doesn't want Vader on their team?
Yeah.
You know, who doesn't want, you know, General Grievous and some Magna Guards? You got Ewoks, dude.
Yeah.
And everything coming down the pipe looks so fun.
It does.
You know, they got Moff Gideon and Din Djarin coming from The Mandalorian. They've got more stuff from the original trilogy. They've got the Bad Batch coming soon. I know we're getting the Rebels crew at some point and Thrawn.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, like, they've really shown that you're not just getting the main characters.
Totally.
They've shown that you're getting niche characters too, you know? You're getting Queen Amidala from Phantom Menace box, you know? Like,
Aura Singh.
in the first wave, dude.
Yeah, it's great. It's Star Wars.
Yeah.
What more can you say? It's goddamn Star Wars.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love it? And if you don't love it, probably don't play Shatterpoint, but you're missing out.
All right. Well, definitely would recommend Shatterpoint to everybody. It's such a fun game. Even if you're not into Star Wars, like, the gameplay on its own is just so unique and refreshing. And it's not just like a war of attrition, battle your opponent down.
Yeah.
You can play that way if you really want to, but it's more interactive, and I think it really rewards thinking on the fly.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, you're never going to be in a situation where, okay, I've played this team 500 times, and I go through the motions because, you know, the first 2/3 of the game is the same every time. Like, the order of when you activate units is randomized. There's so much, like, different unique combinations of things that can be going on. You're never going to play a similar game twice. I don't think I've had more fun playing a new game in a long time.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments if you are interested in Shatterpoint. Let us know if you've been playing Shatterpoint. And if we missed a reason that Shatterpoint is your favorite game, definitely let us know. And spread the good word in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe if you want to see more Shatterpoint stuff. We just posted a battle report. So yeah, check that out on our channel. And I hope you have a good day. May the Force be with you.
Yeah.
Is that too cheesy?
No, we'll leave it.